The market is white hot right now, so stay tuned to hear a few tips of things not to do when making an offer.
Before we get into the 3 tips of things you should never do when making an offer on a home, remember to download a copy of our free guideline of tips and tricks on things you should do. These are tips and tricks that will help you get your offer accepted, and all of the suggestions do not mention raising the price. So go ahead and download that. Now let's talk about 3 things you should never do. Thing number 1, you should never lift all contingencies. So when you buy a house, there's typically 3 contingencies. There's tons of contingencies. There's the big 3, right? So the appraisal, the loan, and the home inspection, right? You never want to lift all of them. You might lift the appraisal, you might lift the loan. Like if you're paying cash, you don't need the loan, and you don't need the appraisal contingency. But you probably want to keep the inspection contingency in place because you never know what you're getting. So always, always, always have a way out of the transaction, just in case. Valerie, what's another thing?
Thing number 2 would be to never expect a counteroffer. The market is white hot right now, and sellers just don't have time for the back and forth game that you might want to play. So come in with your highest and your best offer from the beginning.
And tip number 3 kind of goes hand in glove with Valerie's tip number 2. And that is, you probably don't want to use an escalation clause. If you're going to say, hey, I'm willing to come in 20 grand over list price and I'll beat 5 grand above anybody else's price up to a certain price, well, why don't you just come in with the whole amount? Your offer comes in strong, it looks cleaner, and it's less risky for you, the seller, and the agents involved.
A quick recap of our 3 tips. Thing number 1, never remove all of your contingencies when you're making an offer. Thing number 2, never expect a counteroffer from the seller because they may or may not decide to counter you. And number 3 is we recommend not using an escalation clause. Just come in with your highest and best offer from the beginning.
We hope you enjoyed our 3 tips of things you should never do when making an offer on a home. And if you'd like to learn 10 tips of things you should do to get your offer accepted when making an offer on a home, download it now. It's absolutely free, our gift to you.